So I need to perform one-step unit conversions using dimensional analysis. Make sure you're paying attention to what it says. It says I can do this in one step. We're actually going to show a computation step after this, but as far as my picket fence or my tee it up chart goes, I only need to make a T because I'm only going to need a one-step conversion on this side. The thing I start with always goes in this first two spaces. If there's a single unit like 12-ounce steak, it just goes in the top left. If it was so many miles per hour or dollars per pound or something where I have two units, the first unit goes on the top and the second unit goes on the bottom. Now I've got ounces. It wants to know how many grams. So I'm going to look at my conversions, and I want one that has ounces and grams in it. Ounces is abbreviated OZ, grams is abbreviated G. It's okay to abbreviate as long as they are legitimate abbreviations like these. Like quart is QT, gallon is GAL, cups is C, pints is PT. We've already got pints and quarts, inches, IN. Looking for any that haven't been abbreviated. Pounds is LB, ton is just ton. Fluid ounces, you can write FL and then period OZ. Now, I need one with grams and ounces in it. 28.4 grams is equal to 1 ounce. If I want to cancel the ounces unit up here, the ounces unit has to be in the denominator as well. Just like when you have 6m over 6, the 6's can cancel, one in the top and one in the bottom. You can do the same thing with units. So in my conversion from ounces to grams, ounces has to be in the bottom, grams in the top, and now I have to go back and look again. 28.4 grams is equal to 1 ounce. You need to show that you're canceling your ounces units. What's left is grams. And then the calculation you're going to show that you're going to do is 12 times 28.4 and then divided by 1. So 12 times 28.4. Now the directions also say will also say to round your answers to the nearest hundredth if necessary. We don't need to worry about it here, but we might need to later. So 12 times 28.4 divided by 1 is 340.8 grams for my final answer. Now I also don't actually have to punch the divided by 1 in my calculator because it's not going to change the numbers. Again, these are one-step unit conversions, so I just need one conversion thing. I'm starting at 60 miles per hour. I have two different units, miles per hour. That's miles over hours. So the miles goes here, the hours goes here. 60 miles per hour means I drive 60 miles in 1 hour. This is my starting information. It always goes here on the left. But they want to know how many feet in 1 hour. Well, they want to keep the hours, so I don't want to cancel that. But I want to cancel feet. I want to convert from miles to feet. So my miles is going to have to be down here to cancel with the miles on the top. My feet on the top. Then I have to go and look for my conversion if I don't know it off the top of my head. And I look and I said, oh, 1 mile is the same thing as 5,280 feet. So, 5,280 feet in 1 mile. I can cancel my miles units. And to get my answer, I'm going to take 60 times 5,280 divided by 1 divided by 1. Because anything that's on the bottom of the fraction I would divide by. Now in this case it's not going to matter. Again, the divide by 1 isn't going to change anything. But just so you see what you would be doing if these weren't ones down here. And I end up with 316,800 feet per hour. Because I still have feet on the top and hours on the bottom. Both of those are in my final answer. Again, one-step conversion. A student is 65 inches tall. How tall is she in centimeters? So I want to convert from inches to centimeters. Since inches is on the top here, it needs to be on the bottom in my conversion so that I can cancel. And I go back to my conversion table, and it says, 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 inch. So 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 inch. Now my inches units can cancel. I'm going to take 65 times 2.54 and then divide by whatever's on the bottom, which is the 1. So 65 times 2.54 is 165.1. So she is 165.1 centimeters tall. And last but not least, if they weigh 180 pounds, how many kilograms do they weigh? My starting information, 180 pounds, just one unit, so it goes up in the upper left. I want to convert from pounds to kilograms. And since these are one-step conversions, I know there's got to be a conversion factor with those. So pounds to kilograms. 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. So 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. The unit pounds cancels. You do need to show me that. I'm going to take 180 times the 1 and then divided by the 2.2. Again, the times 1 isn't going to change the value of anything. I'm just showing you that anything in the numerator you would multiply and then divide by anything in the denominator. Now what I get as a number on my calculator is 81.81818, etc. You are going to be rounding your answers in this unit to the nearest hundredth, which is 2 places after the decimal. So this is either going to stay a 1 or go up to a 2. So it's either going to be 81.81 or 81.82. I look to the right from that number. Since this number is 5 or greater, 5 or through a 9, this is going to round up to a 2. So I end up with 81.82 kilograms for my answer.